How you doing?
I'm doing well.
Everybody, this is John Hebert. I've known John a few years. We've worked together on multiple different projects. Guitar player, he's done stuff on my albums. We've played live together a couple times. You've done a lot of you've got a lot of things going on all at once. Stone type thing, Stone Temple Pilots tribute. The acoustic thing with Justin. You're a busy dude. So, thanks for coming. This is going to be cool.
Yeah, this will be fun. I'm looking forward to it. Sorry it took me so long to get over here.
That's all right. We all have lives and things going on. Jobs.
Yeah.
So, let's go back to the beginning, shall we?
Oh, boy.
How old were you? How old were you, and how did you know you wanted to get into music?
Well, I didn't. Well, I'm trying to think. I did get a guitar. I think my parents got me a guitar when I was maybe like 7, or something like that. I think from the Sears catalog. You know, it was like a quarter scale.
Yeah.
You know, real small.
Anything you get from Sears is going to be quality.
Yeah. I can't remember what really got me to wanting the guitar at that point. All I can think of really early on, I think the first bit of guitar that I can consciously remember that I ever heard, it would have been in my sister's room. You know, she's 7 years older than me, and she had Sugar Ray playing. And there's a song called RPM, and it's like a call and response of like a real car motor, and then a guitar comes in. It's like with like a slide, so it's like a rev, you know,
yeah,
and then and like the slide comes in, and I'm like, what is that? What is it like? Yeah.
Yeah, nice. It sounds like something Motley Crue would have done.
Yeah. I think that, I mean, that's like the first I've ever, so I'm trying to think like maybe that's like, oh, I want a guitar. Maybe that's how that started.
So once you got the guitar.
Yeah, then it was just, you know, like my guitar pick was like a penny.
Yeah.
Because I just didn't know.
Yeah.
You know, I think it was just more like I have a guitar.
Yeah.
Period.
Did you start taking lessons or no?
No, not at all.
Have you ever taken lessons?
You know, I took 2. I took 2 lessons, and the instructor was very formal about book learning first.
Ugh.
And that, at the time, you know, I was like 14, 15 when I started. It was too formal. It was too much like school.
Yeah.
I was not into it. And better yet, the guitar was in the corner.
Yeah.
It wasn't even in my hands. And so after 2 lessons, I was just like, this is lame.
So how old were you when you started taking lessons? Or when you took those lessons?
The 2 lessons, I think that would have been like 07, maybe a smidge before, but I truly started playing guitar in 2007. So
you just started playing to the stuff you were listening to.
Basically, and it kind of started with, it definitely started with AC/DC. The growl of those guitars, and
yeah,
you know, that rock and roll hooks.
Well, and that's good to start with them, because their rhythm riffs are pretty simple.
Yeah, they're simple, but yet if you want to play them like correctly,
yeah,
it can be tricky. Sometimes it's not just, you know, or even just the voicing of the chord that they're actually playing.
Yeah, but it's better than starting off with somebody like Metallica. Mm-hmm. You know, it's a little slower pace and
Absolutely.
Easier to follow, more repetition, maybe.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, I mean, we're talking 3-4 minute songs instead of like 8-minute songs.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, don't start off with Maiden.
Yeah. 13 minutes.
What was your first song? Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner.
Dude, it's funny. I was listening to that today.
Were you really?
Really hilarious that you bring that up. I literally had it while I was taking a shower.
It's a good song.
Yeah, amazing.
Funny. So then,
It's a banger.
what's the thing you say?
What? It slaps? It slaps.
Yeah, whatever the hell that means.
It's exactly what you think it means. It slaps, dude. It's a good thing.
If I get slapped, it's not a good thing.
It just slaps you right across your face.
Okay.
It slaps.
So then, go from there, and then first band or first group of somebody you played with?
So, first, I mean, playing, it would have been like starting at like open mics, just getting around, just being around people, other people that played. Todd Hasrig is one that comes to my mind immediately.
He did stuff at the Looney Bin, right?
He's played all over the place.
I mean, then the open mics were at the Looney Bin or no?
Not too much at that time. There's a place, I can't remember what it was called. It was the old Sully's.
Oh.
And there was that little bar in there.
Yeah.
It started with an F. Can't remember, but
I just know it as Sully's.
I remember going there quite often, playing with Todd. Just sitting in, Hey, what key you in? Okay. And then just kind of wing it. But
there's a lot of practice in between, starting to learn some AC/DC riffs to going out and playing in a setting like that.
Yeah, then it became, I think I reached a point in playing, I would say within 2, 3, 4 years, where I just wanted to be good enough to where I can just sit in. That was kind of like a goal, and it's still a goal. It just keeps going. I can sit in now, but it's to do like the improv stuff. There's always something that you could do different or go back to and be like, I'm gonna do it this way now. But it's improv. It's like a free roam. It's a blank canvas.
Yeah.
You go in there, and it's just fun.
So that was.
But it's a good way to challenge yourself too.
So sitting in, and then first band.
So my first band, technically speaking, would have been for the Friendship Fest, Battle of the Bands thing. It was.
Nice.
It was called Coffee and Smokes.
That was the name of the band?
It was the name of the band because literally, I remember Brendan Moore, the drummer, he was always drinking coffee and
lighten up.
Yeah, I think he was smoking a cigarette, yeah. So anyways, somebody said it or something, and Coffee and Smokes really stuck, and we didn't care terribly about the name. It was just, we gotta be called something.
Yeah. And you probably weren't necessarily thinking beyond the Battle of the Bands.
Right.
It was just for that.
It was just for that show, and that was, it was a big deal. In my head, I was like, oh, to play on a stage, this is cool.
There's a lot of people there, yeah.
Yeah, and that's a thing.
Oh yeah.
So that was kind of like the first taste, I guess. I think we got like 5th place that year.
Who else was in the band?
Which kind of sucked. God, there's 2 dudes who totally fell off the face of the planet. One of them's Andrew. Can't remember his last name. There was another dude, Danny. Yeah, I can't remember the other guy's name.
Where about was this? What years?
This would have been, I believe, 2000. like 13.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's accurate.
Now, so was this the period where they had the actual garage door that opened over the stage?
No. This would have been... I think this was when the year before they did the split thing where they had like the drinkers over here.
Oh, yeah.
With the fence thing.
That was weird.
Yeah, it was kind of weird.
Yeah.
But it was the year before that, so it wasn't with that.
Okay, so anybody who doesn't know what we're talking about, Bourbon Day Friendship Festival happens every year, and there's a lot of people that go, and every year they would have the Battle of the Bands, sponsored by King Music. Yeah, and so it was the Battle of the Garage Bands, and it started out just on a regular stage, and it was good, that was fine, but then somebody had the idea of installing an actual garage door that would close in between bands.
I don't think I ever saw that.
And then it would open, and there was another band there. It was really cool.
That's like production.
Yeah. Yeah, that was neat.
That's production.
I don't know when that was, but...
All right, hit the door. Hit the button now.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think it was electric even, but somebody would lift up the door, and it was neat.
Oh wow. Yeah, I never saw that. Didn't even know it was a thing.
Yeah. It may have only been for 1 year. I don't know.
Okay.
I saw it. It was
I'll
neat.
ask Ben that.
Yeah. He's watching.
Hi, Ben.
Hey, Ben. So, after coffee and smokes?
Yeah, so, like I said, so we got 5th place.
Was that your first time on stage?
Yeah.
Other than the...
Yes, I guess technically the first time I was ever on a stage ever would have been in high school at like the, what do you call it? It wasn't highly organized or anything. It was just like a talent show.
Yeah.
It wasn't like it was nothing amazing, but it was cool because, it was like the whole...
everybody's
we'll
there.
call it a theater, but
yeah,
because that's what it felt like at the time.
Yeah, was it
for me
at Bradley?
It was at BBCHS.
In the auditorium or in the gym?
In the auditorium.
Okay.
See, I say theater.
Yeah.
Because at the time it was like
right.
It was like a theater.
In the musician's mind, you're not thinking it's the high school auditorium. You're thinking this.
Yeah. I've arrived. And there's a lot of sweating.
Oh yeah,
that goes into that. I remember I had my first acoustic, which wasn't electric. It was just straight acoustic.
Yep.
So I had like the mic in front of me, while I'm playing, and I was like that made me nervous. Like, so if I move my hand a certain way, this is just gonna go flying, and I'm gonna look like an idiot.
You're gonna punch the mic and it's gonna go flying. Yep.
Yeah, me and my buddy, we did Rebel Yell. Acoustically.
All right.
And that was a lot of fun. That was great. But that was the first time I was ever on like a stage.
And you thought, hey, I could get used to this.
It was fun, but a lot of sweating, like I said.
So after the coffee and smokes,
yep,
you move on to what?
So after the coffee and smokes thing, that was a good shot in the arm for me at the time. It definitely lit a fire under my ass. In the sense that, well, first off, we got 5th place.
Yeah.
And I was really butthurt about that. Basically,
because there were only 5 bands.
Right. So like our singer totally tanked his nerves, just like, and at the time I was like, oh, but whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so 5th place, and then from there, then I started my own band slowly. As that process goes, recruiting, getting people.
So who was that?
That would have been with Mitchell.
Okay. What was the name of the band?
Front of House, and
okay.
I actually didn't care for the name. I still kind of cringe. You even see when I said Front of House,
You say it
I want to see that playback.
say it quietly, maybe nobody hears.
Yeah, yeah.
It was front of house.
He was just in front of her. Like, yeah. And actually that came from working in a restaurant, back of house, front of house.
Oh, okay.
And that's where that came from.
Okay.
And somehow it stuck. It came down to one of those things where, like the coffee and smokes thing. Well, we got to be called something.
Right.
Yeah.
So
that stuck, but we do like AC/DC, and then we did like Master of Puppets, and then we went to like Hot for Teacher, and
that's
so
pretty.
we were doing like some Guns N' Roses, like Paradise City and stuff like that. More.
You're doing some fairly ambitious stuff.
It was fun, because that's all the stuff that that I was we were all into at that point.
Yeah.
Which that's still the stuff that I
nothing's changed.
Yeah, nothing's really changed, to be honest. That one, I think, that band, I kind of felt like, it's cool to be, I don't want to say like the leader, but I always felt like I was much more ambitious. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mitchell was my right-hand man, definitely, because we just shared a lot of the same music taste and what we wanted to see and what we liked and things like that.
He's a very energetic.
He is.
Guy.
He's a phenomenal drummer.
He is.
Like he really is. Like to this day, I'm a guitar player, but I'm a wannabe drummer. So I'll be walking around, during the day, and I'll be like, kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And Mitch, he's like the drummer in my head.
Yeah.
He plays what's in my head, kind of. So I always thought that was cool. It's probably why I hold him on such a high.
He's
Mitch, you getting this?
He's watching too.
So then from there, so a little background. So we're playing at the Spot.
On Broadway.
Yeah, which is not there anymore, unfortunately. Well, the building's there, but so we're playing there, and it was a full house. It was like a birthday thing. We didn't really get paid too much, but it was fun.
Yeah. You do it for the exposure.
Yeah, exactly. The play. Yeah.
Shut up.
The place. The place was packed. So long story short, I found this out much later, but that night, Nick Huffman and Chad Christensen came there because apparently Chad was looking for a guitar player, and he got my name from somebody, and he showed up there and just to
check you out.
Yeah. And then I remember.
But you didn't know they were coming.
Oh, I had no idea. I don't even know who Chad was at that time.
You were being scouted.
Yeah, and it's funny you kind of say that word because Chad told me like later on that like Nick basically said that to Chad like, why? What are you doing here? Like and he's like, I'm just checking it out. And he's like, you're scouting,
I'm gonna call bullshit.
Yeah. So after that, somehow I don't know if we got our number or Facebook or exchanged numbers, whatever. But we ended up connecting, and that he was looking for a guitar player possibly, and would I be interested or whatever. So I think they had a very quick falling out with their current guitar player, and he called me up and he's like, hey, what are you doing? And it was like literally like, all right, I'll be over in an hour,
Wow.
And it wasn't even like a terrible tryout setting. It was just, It was just very low key. There was no, I didn't have any list of the songs or anything like that. It was just come and jam.
Yeah.
And just
but
see
still some
how
covers
gel.
and probably some stuff that
It was just
well known.
It was just all covers,
Yeah.
and I think at that time, so Bad Influence started technically speaking 2013. Am I right, Chad? Uncle Chad? I think it's 2013. Might have even been 2012, but I'm gonna go with 2013.
Okay.
So at this point, it's about 2015 is where we're at now. And 2015, this would have been early 2015. That's when I went over there and blah, 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 blah. And here's a good story. So I show up with at the time, I didn't have, I think I was playing my white Agile, my LP copy. And I had I had my Gibson. I take that back. I had my Gibson Les Paul Studio Deluxe, and I had a Fender Mustang 3 amp, and that's what I brought. So I didn't have any tube amps yet. I couldn't afford it, and I got a good deal on the Gibson. That's the only reason why I had the Gibson. That was my first Gibson. So I pull out of the car, Chad's when we're getting ready to walk in, and like Chad looks at me as I pull the amp out, and he's like, "What the hell's that?" I was like, "My amp," and he's like, "No, leave that in the car." And I'm like, "What?" Like I was so like, and this is like the first time.
How are you gonna hear me?
It's like the first time I'm meeting him, and I'm like, I don't like this guy. like, I know my amp's not the greatest, but damn it, and But so whatever. So we went in or whatever, and he had like a 212 PV that I could play on.
Nice.
And it was an all tube amp. So I was like, okay, I'm fine with this.
PV made good stuff.
Yes. It was a PV Valve King.
Nice.
So anyways, we played or whatever. We just gelled. It was just a very natural, organic thing. And then like it was the end of the gig. End of hanging out, whatever, just
/ kind of rehearsal.
Yeah, just whatever you want to call it. Drinking, whatever.
Yeah, sure.
Nothing crazy, just hanging out. And how did it go? They kind of like voted, like out loud, and they're like, "Well, you got the gig, man." And I was like, "Oh, cool."
So did you know it was going to be kind of an audition when you went?
Maybe like semi. It just wasn't very like formal.
Yeah.
It was just very low key and loose.
Yeah.
So anyways, I was like, oh cool, and they had a gig booked for Catfish Days.
Wilmington.
Yeah, and Bad Influence was opening up for Black Cadillac.
Oh,
and I was like, oh wow, like that's a splash.
Yeah.
Because definitely, like even before I could get into bars, I kept seeing Black Cadillac.
Yeah.
The name around,
I thought it was a cool name.
Yeah.
And then when I went to see them, they were really good.
Yeah, well, I didn't get to see them beforehand. I just knew, like, I remember seeing, maybe they were coming in and they were setting up at, like, Family House Restaurant when they used to.
That's where I saw them.
Dude, yeah. But I couldn't go because I wasn't old enough.
Yeah.
So that's old school.
Yeah.
Matt. That's old. That's old school.
That was a hell of a band.
So that was kind of a cool thing. I'm like, oh wow, like it was kind of in my mind, it was like, oh,
Yeah. Yeah. It was another step in the process.
It was another step
More
in the
exposure,
process.
all that stuff.
Yes. So I think I had like 2, maybe 3 weeks to learn like their full set, which was like 40 some songs or whatever. Now some of them I did know, like, ish, like one of them was like Talk Dirty to Me or something.
Whew, that's a tough one.
I knew it, but I didn't know it. So like there was some, but I had to go through all of them, and Then there was some that I never played before, but that's it kind of sucks when you're in that thing where you're like, okay, I have to learn all these songs, and because it's very crunch time feeling, and some anxiety, some self-doubt.
Why am I doing this? Why did I ever start?
Yeah.
Let's go back for just a second, because you were talking about your guitar and your amp going in. From the day we met, you talked about your gear, and you're very much a gear guy.
I'm a gear nerd.
So, talk a little bit about that.
I'm down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, you probably remember every piece you've had.
Pretty much, probably.
And yeah, because I'm not. I play, but I don't give a crap about what I'm playing through, or I'm not a pedals guy. It's not really what I'm playing through. It's about the sound I'm getting out of it. Of course.
And that's because I'm like a stickler. I'm weird.
You're not the type of guy that's just going to pick up a guitar and play through any old amp.
I could.
You can play, but it's not going to be satisfactory.
I'm going to sit there and tweak it and dial it in. And I remember, Chad would screw with me all the time. Like, early Bad Influence days, I used to sit in front of my amp for hours, just in the sense of getting it to sound how I wanted it to sound. And just little tweaks, pictures taken of the settings, like total nerd. If anything, I'm making fun of myself. Because it was like that. So anyways,
but that's a sign of that you truly love. You get into what you do.
Well, it's kind of like, I have in my head on what I want to hear.
Yeah.
And then sometimes some amps can only give you so much.
Sure.
So then you just keep going. Maybe a compression pedal would, give it more oomph or whatever.
So what's your setup now?
My live setup is 120 watt PV6505 plus. It's so loud. With a 412 Marshall 1960 A cab. Why do I know that?
I don't know.
Right off top. That's what I'm using, and then
you've got your pedal board.
I got the pedal board, which I'm really just my on all the time pedal is that boost pedal, because it just warms everything up and just pushes your tone just right up to that. It's just so much better. So it's on all the time. It gives it a growl. I like it.
And your go-to guitar?
Go-to guitar is going to be my Gibson.
Okay.
My
I didn't know
Les
if that
Paul
had shifted
standard.
at all to your Van Halen.
No. Like, when it comes to live, Les Paul is just where it's at for me. Just feels tonally at home. I'm tonally at home. And if physically feels like home.
Yeah.
Okay,
so now back to the timeline.
Yeah, so where was I?
Bad Influence. You guys were together for a long time. Was it a few years?
Yeah, we. Technically speaking, I would say that we're still.
Well, but there was a break.
There was a break because Chad had to move, but whatever. Stupid Iowa. All the love, brother. That was 2018. So, for 3 years, we really played a lot of gigs. It was every weekend.
Yeah.
Every weekend. Sometimes sometimes within that weekend we would do like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday show.
Wow.
Which that was fun. That was like my first taste of that kind of, craziness.
Yeah. It's a lifestyle.
It's kind of a high.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I could. Yeah, I'm not. As I get older, that would not be for me.
Right.
I know that it's just not.
Yeah.
Who I am. A couple days. Okay, fine. That's fun.
Once or twice a month, maybe.
Yeah, when the weeks turns into months, or I'm sorry, when the days turn into months.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not my bag.
So you said a second ago that was kind of your high.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
There are a lot of drugs was never a thing for you.
No.
As far as right?
He's like,
I guess as far as I know. What decision, what went into that decision to kind of stay away?
I don't know.
Or was it really even a thought?
I drank.
Yeah.
But it wasn't anything like excessive, like crazy. There was one show.
Oh,
literally.
This one time.
Yeah, it was my birthday in my defense, and
this is going to involve Nick Huffman, isn't it?
He was there. He was there. It was just one of those, like, after every song, it was just a line of shot glasses, just shots, 3, 4, whatever, and so I just started doing shots. Like,
and by the end of the night,
and like,
how was your playing?
So like, I'm a big dude, like I can hang, but so let's put it this way: the first set was awesome, take a break, second set. Unfortunately, I don't recall too much of that second set. I just remember, I was drunk. I was blasted. I almost had like that lean going on, that kind of thing. Man. And
thankfully there were pillars on that stage.
Yeah, so you can,
lean
you
against
come
the
up
thing.
there
right,
and, lean up against a pillar.
That way you don't fall off.
Yeah. But, what was it? I think it was like pinch, like those nuances, little things, like pinch harmonics and things like that. Like I couldn't do it because I was a slushy up there. Like I was just.
Do you happen to have any video of that show? Would you admit it if you did?
I would watch it first, and then I would answer that question. I might have to dig.
I don't know if I have any.
But
and then you come back to no, I do not have any proof that happened.
Actually, Kim Berry has a few times he's brought that up like over the years. Where he's like, yeah, that was the only time where like John was gone.
Yeah, yeah. So bad influence brings us to like, when did the first go around end?
So bad influence, like I said, we played a lot through those 3 years, and God, it was almost kind of a dream, in the sense of just like Nick Huffman would call us up like randomly, and it be like, hey, Jack Russell's Great White is gonna come to the bin and I need an opener.
Yeah.
Are you interested?
And you were like, gee, let me think about that.
Sure, let me see what I've got going on my schedule. You know what I mean? Like, duh.
Yeah.
Like, of course we'll do that. So we were kind of like his kind of go-to.
Almost like the house band.
Kinda. Like, without actually, like, labeling it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we kind of were. And that happened with, like, Jack Russell's Great White, Ozzy's guitar player, Gus G, Tracy Guns, which that was really cool because Tracy Guns was like, very early on playing, like I kind of studied some of his playing and stuff like that. So that was just really cool. Michelangelo Badio.
Oh, I forgot he came to town. Yeah.
And I also did a thing in 2014. I'll have to talk about that. We'll have to journey back. Saving Abel, Afro Man.
Yeah.
Like just random cool stuff. The Las Vegas, Chicago band. I mean, yeah, I'd have to have a list in front of me. Like a cover band should not, have that type of, I don't know, opportunities to. I mean, not that you shouldn't, but it's just kind of it's not a thing.
Yeah.
So I felt very fortunate. So many great memories.
You opened later on for John Corabi.
I did. Yeah, that was cool.
That was an acoustic thing, though.
Yeah, with Neela, it was an acoustic thing, and it was just, she was singing and I was playing, and that, it was a very simple thing. I don't think everyone could. No, they didn't want the band. That's right, because it was acoustic.
Right.
That's right.
Because John was playing acoustic.
Right.
I was there. I saw that. I saw you play, but I didn't know you yet.
Okay.
I had no idea who you were.
Okay. Yeah, that I mean, John Corabi's really cool. Obviously, I'm a big Motley Crue fan, and I adore the '94 album.
Me too. I think it's the best thing they've ever done.
It's hard for me to say that, just because I'm an avid Motley fan. I am highly disappointed in what they're doing right now currently.
Sure.
But that's a whole nother thing. Bring back Mick.
Please. But he can't tour anymore.
No, I know.
I get that, but
like I said, I mean, we could sit here and talk about that.
Yeah.
All day. So Bad Influence totally had so many great opportunities. Playing with Nationals. Which is super cool. The Looney Bin, looking back, it was kind of like our Whiskey A Go-Go.
Yeah.
Like in the 80s.
Yeah. And it's bizarre because it's like the size of this room.
Yeah.
It's a tiny little place, but so much has happened there.
Such a vibe.
Yeah.
Such a vibe that was created.
Yeah. So what happened? What finished that first round with Bad Influence?
Chad
moved. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Chad moved. He founded the band, and he he moved, and we're like, well, I guess we look for another dude, or whatever. And through those 3 years of Bad Influence, we were cursed with like bass players. We're just going through bass players. We just couldn't keep them.
Which is odd, because I think if you find 2 or 3 at all, you're lucky.
Like we went through a stint of like from when I joined, and we had 1, 2, 3, and then actually 4, and then we ended on 5.
Wow.
And now, technically speaking, we're on number 6 right now.
Yeah.
Like, that's nuts.
It is. So after that ended, what did you do?
Well, it's not that it ended. So basically, moving forward, so we were kind of done. We did this last show thing. But at that time, even before the last show, I hit up Justin. I'm like, okay, who's a dude that can pull this off and learn all this material and actually be good at it.
So how did you meet Justin?
I've known Justin since I was probably, he's 2 years younger than me. I bet I was like 16, 17.
Okay. We're talking about Justin McCarty.
Yes.
The one, the only.
Sir brother Justin McCarty. And he talks about, like, early on, I remember going over to his house, and I had, like, my, Epiphone Les Paul, and I can't remember, was he, like, I think he had, like, just picked up or something, and I was going through, like, the Ozzy Crazy Train phase. So I was, like, sitting there, like, doing the Crazy Train solo and stuff, and apparently that left Justin with a little motivation or maybe inspiration.
Yeah.
I think in quote, I remember him, like, he said, like, oh, so, like, this can actually be done. Like,
oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? It wasn't, just like watching, some dude on TV or something.
Yeah.
So that's very humbling and cool, because Justin's an amazing player.
He is.
I learn from him all the time.
I
continue to learn from him all the time.
He's way more into the theory and
so we've kind of talked about that over the course of time, where, like, he's dabbled with some jazz and some heavier stuff and so this and that and the other, but then he also spent time to kind of take the time to figure out why and how things work.
Yeah.
So a little bit more, theory and stuff. And I didn't.
No, I didn't either. Yeah.
I was much more like, does it sound good? And then I just kind of play from the hip.
Yeah.
So not
that there's a right way or wrong way.
No, there's not.
It's whatever feels good for you. Whatever works.
That's what works. That's what works for me. But yeah, to this day, he's my guy. I'll be like, Justin, like, what am I actually playing here chord wise?
Yeah.
And like, I'll know that I'm in G, but I'm like, what exactly am I playing? And he'll be like, I'll got the guitar in my hand, and he's sitting there, and he lines up him with his guitar, he's doing his, and he's like, okay, so it looks like G minor third with an A over the top, augmented, or some,
I don't even understand that stuff.
It's right over, but I'm like, but I am in G though, right?
So you contacted him.
Yeah, so I contacted him, and he was into that. So he kept the train rolling, as Chad.
So this was still Bad Influence then, or was this a separate band?
This was still Bad Influence.
Okay.
So that was, like, it's 2018, and we did that for a little over a year. And then from there, it just kind of, things were happening in, other people's lives, within the band, personal things and stuff. And, it just started to, and we played a lot through those 3 years before Justin came in. And then when Justin was there, we played a lot too. But I think at that point, maybe we even, like, burnt ourselves out, maybe even a little bit.
We're playing that much. I can see why.
Yeah, because we definitely were playing a lot. So yeah, that was like, 2019, and then we actually did just hang it up. We did like a final show. We promoted it like that and blah, blah, blah. And then, I think we came back prior, I'm trying to think, it was before COVID. Anyways, doesn't matter. We always got asked, like, oh, play this benefit or do this or that. And we did one of them, I know that. But then Chad, like, to this day, he'll still call me, I need a show. Like, it just very simplistic, very to the point. I need a show.
I need something to do.
I'm like, okay. We can talk about that. So yeah, it was like, you know. So yeah, at this point we're kind of like Kiss. We're doing the Kiss thing. Yeah.
Farewell tour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We did our farewell tour in the 90s and the early 2000s. And
yeah.
Then now we're sitting here in 2025 and
you hung up the boots and.
Yep. But yeah, Bad Influence is very near and dear to my heart.
So after Bad Influence,
mm-hmm.
What happened after that?
After Bad Influence, trying to think, I think this was about 2018. I remember, I went to go see a band. It was a Stone Temple Pilot, Velvet Revolver tribute band. Like on the flyer, like it had, Velvet Revolver, the STP logo, and it had Guns N' Roses on it too. I was like, I want to check that out, because I'm a big Velvet fan.
You're a big Slash fan.
GNR fan, yeah.
Yeah. Do you think Slash is probably your biggest influence?
Maybe like, it's tough, man. There's so many. Slash is definitely, I've taken a couple pages out of his playbook.
Yeah.
But
I ask because I hear a lot of his style when you play sometimes.
Sure. I think, it really started with Angus Young.
Yeah.
And then from there, early on, I didn't even understand Slash's playing.
Yeah.
A
little unorthodox.
That it was too much for my brain to comprehend. Mm-hmm. Angus's was a little bit more, I don't know, straightforward and doable.
Yeah.
The Slash is playing in like harmonic minor stuff, and Angus is just ripping it in A.
Yeah.
It was much easier to follow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you saw the Velvet Revolver.
So I go there with my girlfriend at the time to see these guys, and I was impressed. I wasn't terribly wowed by the guitar player in the sense where I actually looked over to my girlfriend at the time, and I go, and I got my arms crossed like this, and I'm watching, and I'm like, I should be playing guitar for these guys, like, and I remember saying that. And so at that same gig, I remember Phil, the singer, coming up, and he knew me-ish. I think he knew of like Bad Influence.
Yeah.
And we kind of just briefly talked on his, I think they were like on break or something, and we did exchange numbers. And at the time, I remember I was like, this doesn't mean anything to me. Like, it's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
For some reason, I just had that in my head.
Well, because they're based further north.
Yeah, and I don't know. It just seemed, I don't know why, but it just seemed unrealistic.
Yeah.
Not that it was so far-fetched, but I don't know. And I completely forgot about it, and then like a year had gone by. And this was like May of 2019. Phil called me up out of the blue. He's like, "Hey man, remember, what's up, man? And, it's Phil. You remember me? Oh yeah. What's up?" He's like, "Yeah, we got the band Stone Type Thing has a gig at Dirty Nelly's in Palatine. I think it was like 10 days away or something.
Had he ever even heard you play?
I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, maybe saw videos. I don't know.
Yeah.
But so how that basically is how that started. So basically, yeah. So again, it was another crash course thing of.
Yeah.
I mean, and they were only playing like an hour, so I think I had to learn like 15 songs or something.
And you said, "I can do this."
But within 10. 10 songs. No, I'm sorry, 15 songs. It was like 10 days. So I was like eating and sleeping with those songs. And I was very apprehensive on taking it just because I was like, well, I'm not trying to shoot myself in the foot here. Like it was like hard songs, like Mr. Brownstone.
Yeah.
Like that's very riffy and it's kind of a tongue twister too, actually. And I had never learned it before.
So this was on top of what you were currently doing?
Well, Bad Influence at that point was now over.
Yeah, fizzled out.
Yeah.
So you were kind of looking for something anyway.
I was single, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? And so I was, single and ready to mingle, as they say, right?
Yeah.
So I took it as an opportunity. I'm like, okay, you know what? Let's see if I can pull this off.
Yeah.
You know?
Might as well try.
Yeah, I mean, and Dirty Nellies is like a really cool place to play. So I'm like, hell yeah, let's do this. So I learned the songs, and that was still one of my favorite shows that I've played with them. I think it was just such a rush because of like, as much as I wanted to play the show, I was going to be very thankful when it was over because I was just kind of stressed out.
Yeah, yeah.
So once the show was over, I was like...
And then they said, let's do more.
Yeah. So anyways, so now I've joined with them, and I've been with them ever since. So I've been with them 6 years. And we did kind of have like a hiatus.
I was gonna say, because when we met,
I'm trying to think, like,
that wasn't a thing. I don't think.
I think it was about over a year. We played in March of 2020.
Okay.
And then right after that, that's when like the world shut down.
Right.
And then through that, we totally had like a hiatus. As all bands did, but an extended hiatus.
Yeah.
And then through that, then we got a call to go play in Indianapolis, and that kind of lit a fire under. It kind of joined us back because it was a really good gig, and we were kind of excited about it.
Well, just getting out of the house.
Yeah, so yeah.
At that point, getting out of the house was a good thing.
This would have been in like 21 at that point, I think. I don't think 22. Yeah, this would have been 21. Yeah.
So, but then here, because the first time I saw you play was in Moments at that bar, and you were playing, it was outside the back of the bar, with...
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember the name
Jezebel.
of the band. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, I did not like that name. And the rest of the guys in the band knew that.
Well, that's all right.
I was outvoted. It was one of those situations.
It happens.
I'm like, well... And Justin was in that, too. And he didn't like the name of the band either.
Was he there?
We were outvoted.
Was he there at that show?
Yes, he was. He was playing bass.
Oh, okay. Because I remember going to see you. We had met by that point. We had met, or at least talked on the phone. And you were going to be playing, so I said, I want to go see how he plays. And Beth and I went.
Yes, I remember that.
And so after the first set, you were taking a break, and we were going to take off. Because we're old and we have to be in bed by 9.
Because we're old and we got to be in bed by 9.
And so we talked for a second, and you immediately went into your gear. You were showing me around your pedal board and your amp and your stuff, and you were so excited.
Well, you're a player, so like, you know, I'm like, well, he'll at least appreciate.
I could appreciate it, but I was like,
Yeah.
But you were beaming.
Yeah.
Just talking about your
giving
gear.
you the rig rundown.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm running this through the effects loop, and then this comes out through here. No.
And I was going, whatever, dude. Sounds good.
Yeah. I'm a total gear nerd.
So Jezebel didn't last too long?
Yeah. A year or so.
Okay.
Something like that. I think for me, musically, the songs that we were playing just wasn't my total cup of tea.
Knowing you now, I can totally see that. That was a little light for you.
Well, it was light, but it was, you know, the songs just weren't totally my thing.
Wasn't what you wanted to play.
It wasn't anything like personal. It was just very musical related, and it wasn't my thing.
Yeah.
Like really anymore. But it was fun to. That was the first time I ever like worked with like a female singer, and because I remember I went over to Ryan and Neela's for like a cookout barbecue thing, and Neela was singing, and I was like, oh wow, like she can sing. Maybe there's something there, you know. And at that particular time, I was a single man, so to speak.
Right.
And I needed something, and I wanted to maybe what's that line? Kind of uncover the rock or whatever. See what's underneath the rock.
Oh, sure.
You know.
Yeah.
So that was kind of that moment for me.
Turn over each stone.
Yeah. It's too early in the morning, man. I can't think. But yeah, that's what that was for me. And that was with Kim, you know, from Bad Influence.
Oh yeah.
Justin was in there, and then obviously Ryan and Neela.
Ryan played guitar, or was he bass?
He played guitar.
And Justin was on bass.
And Justin was on bass. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. But yeah, just the way that the set list was going, I just started to kind of, the interest started to fade,
I get it.
And it wasn't anything hardcore personal. It was just more musical.
So after that?
So then after that, I believe that leads me to you.
Well, because, we had met by that point.
If I'm remembering the timeline. You said we did meet at that point?
Yeah, because I went to see you play.
Okay, yes, duh. Okay. I'm like piecing this all together. I got this mental timeline.
Yeah.
Trying to visualize this. So at that time, I think we had already talked.
Yeah.
And
had we met yet as a group that day?
That's what I'm kind of trying to remember. I don't think so.
Okay.
That was, I don't think so.
I wonder if I went to see you, like to see, is that who I want?
It could have been.
I don't really remember.
Is this who I want?
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I don't know what the hell I'm getting into here.
This John guy, I don't know.
So then we started rehearsing.
I remember you got my number from Ben.
Yep.
And I remember you called me. I think I was even at work. I was definitely at work when we had this particular conversation where you're like, hey, this is what I'm looking for, blah, blah, blah. I need do you know anybody? You know, like drums and bass.
Yeah,
you know?
I just thought I'm going to do a
like
couple shows.
Like you were.
I need a band.
Like you were. Yeah, exactly. I need a band. End quote. And I was like, huh. I was like, and for some reason, and you said something. You described it like I need double bass.
Yeah.
Like
double
drums,
bass.
somebody that's really good at double bass. And immediately I was like, Mitchell.
Bing.
Like
yeah.
it was within, and then that flowed right into, and Justin could play bass.
Yeah.
You know, if he's obviously interested.
Yeah, because we
if
talked.
both of these guys are even interested.
Yeah,
this is where my brain went.
I sent you a couple songs.
Uh huh.
And you said, I've got a couple guys.
Yeah.
Give me 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And you called back and said...
The light bulb, it was very instant.
Yeah,
you said double bass, my brain went right there.
You sent them the songs, you said they're in.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. I don't know who they are, but...
Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah. So then we met and started rehearsing.
Yeah.
Just the three of us, you, me, and Justin. Just with the amps down in the family room, or in the dining room.
Correct.
Remember, we didn't bring...
We didn't bring Mitchell in because...
we wanted to get together what we were doing first.
Yeah, we had to be on the same page, otherwise we're wasting Mitch's time when he is here.
Right.
We're going to an A there, and then the transition hit?
And we didn't want him sitting there going...
Yeah.
Okay, let's play.
So that is how that started.
So what else were you doing were you doing something at the same time? I can't remember.
As far as...
was there a Stone type thing?
Yeah, that's always been on. Some years have been leaner.
Yeah, I just don't remember you doing any other shows at that point.
We don't play a lot. But I'd say in the past 2 years, this year and last year, we've picked up.
Yeah.
And that's good. Because, like, you know, they're in other bands, and they're, you know, they got families, and they're up north, and I'm over down south, and then our bass player lives closer to Chicago. We're kind of, like, all over the place.
Yeah.
I was with them, actually, last night rehearsing.
Yeah.
In Orland, but... where are we going with that?
I don't know. We got to the point where we started playing.
Okay. So I was still doing like Stone type thing or whatever. Doing that, and then doing Mike Rockert music. Michael Rockert music.
So we were rehearsing once a week.
Something like that, or even every other sometimes, depending on schedules.
And this was all for we rehearsed for about 4 or 5 months.
Sounds about right.
For 2 shows.
Yeah.
Merchant Street Music Fest and then the Estival Festival.
Mm-hmm.
And then that was done.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The shows went well.
It was fun. Played Merchant Street, played Estival Festival.
Was that the first time you had... I mean, I say original music. It's not that you had a hand in writing it, but it wasn't a bunch of covers. Was that the first time you'd done that? So,
in Bad Influence, we did write 2 songs.
Okay.
I mean, honestly, it was me. Like, the writing process was literally like me and Chad, and
that counts.
We would just sit there and hammer out some cool grooves and stuff like that, and then from there. I remember, like, Josh, Josh was kind of super critical on his lyrics, but his lyrics were really cool. I really liked his lyrics, and so did Chad, and actually everybody did. Yeah. But he was just like, I don't think he was 100% on board with the whole original thing.
I get it.
But point being, I could be wrong, Josh. But point being is that we wrote and performed 2 original songs. Nice. And that was fun. I have those on video somewhere. And they were actually cool tunes.
Yeah.
They were cool tunes. I still like them.
Well, did you ever record them or no?
Never recorded. Some shit happened where like we were going to take some shows and we were going to go into the studio and do them. And actually maybe do like try and do like an EP or something like that. And then some shit within the band. We were like, screw that then.
Yeah.
And that motivation came and went.
Yeah.
So
it happens.
It does happen.
So then...
Yeah, so where are we at now?
We do our... First, before we did shows, I was still working on the album For a Time Such as This.
Yep.
And I wanted you to come in and record some guitars.
Yep.
And you played on Colorblind and God Save Me.
Colorblind I never even heard. I came in here with a blindfold on.
Oh, that's right, because you were supposed to come in and do one.
It was two. It was God Save Me and it was something else.
I don't even remember.
Colorblind, I specifically remember. You're like, hey,
I've got another one. You want to do it?
Yeah, exactly. It was very, very organic and very on the spot. You didn't even have vocals.
Yeah.
It was very stripped down. You just had like drums and bass and I think guitar.
Yeah.
You kind of had like the layout, but there was no vocals. There was no melody that I could actually try and attach.
Well, and it worked out because
guitar lines.
I'm not big on my own lead playing. So I thought, well, he's here. See what he can do.
Yeah. So yeah, that was cool, and I think I kind of just played it like it was a backtrack, but yet.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, because there was two sections where you're like, here's
the main solo.
Here's the main solo. So it's not like I was sitting there doing like verses, and pre-choruses, and crap like that. But
so then
there was the outro solo too. I remember that.
So you have to record those songs, then play them live.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was cool. I can't remember that other song.
Hang on, I'll find it.
So it was God Save Me. So God Save Me was the one that I actually kind of like sat down and hammered out and got a blueprint of what like I was gonna come over and record, and this is what I'm gonna play. It was very, everything was in place. And that one, I think that one's still my favorite solo, like just the solo that I did on that. Being that I took time to then do it. Colorblind is very organic and just right off the cuff.
I think that was it.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe it was. Maybe it was just God Save Me. Control? Control? Okay. So then it is just...
Yeah. So yeah, you got to...
So yeah, God Save Me, yeah. So I don't want to say I was intimidated. I was just like, all right, we can see what we get.
Oh, yeah, you did a fantastic job.
But yeah, Colorblind was really cool, and it turned out good.
That's one of my favorite solos that you've done.
Really?
Yeah.
I think we were texting back and forth one day. I had some downtime at work, and
you asked me what
we had got to bullshitting via text, and you said that like your favorite solo that I've done was the Colorblind.
So after those two shows, let me see, that was in the fall of 2023.
Yep, like September.
And then October, you and Justin started.
Yeah, so it's funny. I think it was even before. It was after a practice here. We had a rehearsal here, and we were me and Justin were out, just packing up. We're by the cars, whatever. And
Yep.
Justin said something like, "Hey, I'm thinking about doing something acoustic."
He had already done a show or two by himself.
Yeah, just like an open, not even an open mic. Like he did. Maybe he sat in with somebody.
I don't know what it was.
And did like his own set or something like that.
He posted a video.
Yeah.
Of him singing and playing, and I had no idea he could sing.
Yeah, I didn't know either. He actually sent me audio of him doing. Was it All Along the Watchtower? It was a Jimi Hendrix song, and he was singing and playing, and I was like,
"Yeah,
dude, you can sing." Like, yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, surprised the hell out of everybody.
so then then I know he played like a few sets or shows or whatever, and then he's like, I'm looking to do something acoustic. He's like, is that something you'd even be interested in? Everyone thinks of me with an electric guitar, but
well,
but nonetheless a guitar in general.
Right, that works.
So and I never done anything acoustic, and I was like, so anyways, this kind of happened
in the driveway,
and
on a Wednesday night.
Yeah, and I don't even think we had played like Estival Festival yet.
Yeah.
So just as a timeline marker, but
yeah.
So then after that, I can't even remember right around when we started. I think it was, it was September of
23. Had to be.
I think it was 2. I think it was 22.
Oh, you're right.
22.
You are absolutely right.
Yeah, this was 22. So I would say realistically, like August of 22 is kind of when me and Justin like got together and we started.
Because the Estival Festival was in September.
Yeah.
So just before then, yeah.
Yeah. So like Justin basically had a bunch of songs that, he was already doing or whatever. Hey, lay something down to this or something.
Yeah.
And it wasn't... The thing with Justin and I is that we work really well together without having to think about it too much.
You've known each other for so long.
Yeah. And
you work really well together.
We both know each other's styles and what one might do.
Yeah.
Before doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it takes a lot of that wasted time. I don't want to call it wasted time, but
it's efficient.
It's very efficient.
And you were telling me about this before you started doing shows, and I thought, well, it's an interesting idea because you were talking about mashing up some different styles, taking a song and doing it very differently, and I didn't really know what that meant.
The thing is with acoustic is that it's stripped down and you can get away with things easier than you can with a full band.
Yeah. But then your first show was here for Beth's 50th birthday.
Yeah, the first show was here.
We set you up in the dining room.
And that was
October 22.
8th? I don't know.
Well, her birthday's the 27th, so it must have been later in the month.
Okay.
And we had a bunch of people over, and everybody said, holy shit, these guys are good.
Yeah, that was our, and I really appreciated that you wanted us to be here. And
it was perfect. It was perfect for the night.
And that let us get our feet wet.
Yeah.
You
guys got yourself a little PA system for everything that worked great.
Yeah, the EV, what a great piece of gear that is. It's just phenomenal.
Perfect setup.
I joke about that's like me and Justin's child, because we went on that and bought that together.
Yeah.
And
who gets custody?
Yeah, who has custody? If it's like after a gig, like you taking the EV or we have joint custody. So
nice. So then you guys are off and running.
Yeah,
you guys started booking shows a lot.
The thing is, I didn't know that it. I don't know that it would be. I thought maybe it'd be cool if we get a gig or two a month or something like that. And like now we're doing like the 3 and 4, and
Yeah.
every weekend, and it's a lot of fun, and it's very, it's kind of, I don't want to say easy, but like
it's not as complex as bringing a bunch of gear and having a whole band.
Yeah, I mean, it has its thing, sure, but it's just so chill.
Yeah.
It's just a totally different animal.
Yeah.
It's a totally different animal.
So this, along with Stone type thing, shows kind of sprinkled in between.
Yeah. So between that, I mean, like last year, I think I played, me personally, that's with the two, like almost 50 shows.
Wow.
Which is, when I thought about that, I was like, good job, John.
That's a lot.
Like kind of a pat on the back, like, hey, I work full time, like,
yeah.
like, I'm not just
right.
So yeah, that definitely takes commitment.
So that started 3 years ago.
Yep.
Almost. And so you've got the two. Was there anything else? Has there been anything else in that mix?
Not that I can really recall, or at least that was...
You've done some more recording here.
Okay, there is one.
Okay, what's that?
Okay, we're going to back the bus up here. So, earlier when I was talking about 2013 Coffee and Smokes thing.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I remember that lit a fire under my ass because we got 5th place, and I was really like, I had high hopes, So, fast forward, I was doing the front of house thing, and then I put together, it was about 6 weeks. I hit up Josh Moore, let's see, Benjamin, that's his Facebook name, and Travis McHugh, and we got together and we did the 3-song set for Battle of the Bands, and we rehearsed for like 6 weeks, and we got 1st place, and it was a great
Wait a second, when was this?
This would have been 2014.
Oh, okay.
So this was the year right after.
Gotcha.
Getting 5th place.
Okay, I see. Gotcha.
I was so butthurt. I was like, oh, So I just wanted another crack at it,
Yeah.
And those are great.
You wanted redemption.
Yeah, I did. It was a very personal redemption. And I found a good group of guys to do it.
I just want to make sure that was still going.
And we're back live.
And we're back. So that's so that was back in the bus way up.
Yeah.
So you came back here to do some more recording.
I did.
Did a few songs on Ghost Within Us.
Mm-hmm. Actually, a lot.
Before then, we did the Kiss cover, Making Love.
Yes.
For the One Track Mind EP.
Yes. Yeah, that one
you
was...
You ripped on that.
That was really cool.
That was really
And I remember we did that dual tracking thing, kind of...
It just overlapped a little bit.
Randy Rhoads used to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, it was very common.
Your solo on that was badass.
I was happy with the way it turned out. Yeah.
And then came Ghost Within Us.
Yes.
And you did 4 songs on that.
4 songs, yeah. Yeah.
And that was when it started becoming difficult to nail you down.
What do you mean?
Hey, you want to come over to... Yeah, but I can't... all right. Maybe in a couple months.
I know. Well, even like today.
Yeah. We've been playing this for a while.
I think we started talking about this in like March.
Yeah.
Yeah, just always something's
You're
going
a busy
on.
Dude, man.
And yeah.
So brings us to now.
Yeah.
You're still doing Justin and John?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The acoustic?
Yep.
You're still doing the Stone type thing?
Yep.
What else is going on?
No, I mean, nothing really. I do at some point. I would like. I don't even like to talk about it because nobody's doing it, and so I don't want somebody to take my idea.
Tell me.
Pretty much. No, I would like to do. I'm interested in doing like a Slash tribute at some point.
You would be really good with that.
And I don't want to wear a hat. I just want to get up there and be myself.
Just the music.
And just and do that music. There's so much. First off, there's nobody doing it. It's all good. Everyone's doing the Guns N' Roses thing.
Right. But Slash has done so many different things.
Slash has done so many things.
You can't be doing a Guns N' Roses tribute and put Velvet Revolver stuff in.
Yeah. Especially if you're doing specifically a Guns N' Roses tribute. Right. And then, you might be able to throw in one song, and maybe a few people might get off on it. But, yeah. You're going to see a Guns N' Roses tribute band. Why aren't you going to play Guns N' Roses? Yeah.
I would go see that if you did that.
The Slash tribute.
That would be really cool.
See, the thing is he did obviously Guns, and then he had Slash's Snake Pit, and there's a great song called Landslide that I love. I'd love to do that. And they're not. It would be good songs, even if you don't know the songs.
Yeah.
Really good songs to play live that an audience, I believe, would really like that.
It would be entertaining.
Yeah. This song slaps. You know what I'm saying? There you go.
There it is. Well, and a lot of the songs would be songs people know.
Yeah.
Because inevitably, even if they don't know the band, they think it's Slash. Okay, they know Guns N' Roses.
The Slash style or whatever.
Yeah, but you're gonna play other stuff other than Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
That people may or may not realize.
You know what's cool about Slash is he's worked with everybody.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson, Carole King.
Oh, I don't know if I knew that.
You know what I'm saying? But he was always just himself.
Yeah.
And that really appealed to me. And I think that, his, that very melodic type of playing, very the feel good of those bends that he does and stuff like that. But
he's a very emotional player.
Yeah. Absolutely. But yeah, like I said, his catalog, everything that he's touched, obviously Velvet Revolver, and then he did his solo Slash album where he had all those different singers on there.
Yep.
Chris Cornell was on there, Ozzy was on there, blah blah blah. And then from there, then it became not that band, but then formed Slash, Miles Kennedy, and the Conspirators.
Yes.
And then they have four.
So good.
They have 4 albums.
Yep.
And so between, we're from Guns to current.
That's a lot of material.
There's all of this, and I'm just nobody's doing this.
Yeah.
And so I think it'd be badass.
Yeah, it would.
So, and I don't want to wear a hat. I don't want to wear a wig.
I get it. I totally get it.
I don't want to shave.
Yeah.
To have the clean shave look with the hair to look like Slash. First off, I'm bald, and this is what I have.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to look like a thumb. You know what I mean? So I'm not shaving my beard.
So I've asked you this before, and
I think I know where this is going.
You've responded kind of lukewarm.
Lukewarm. Is this what I think it is?
Recording.
Original.
Writing, yes. Writing your own stuff.
So I have I don't sit down and write, but I guess sometimes I do if I'm in that mode where I just want to, blank canvas and just kind of, this sounds cool. And
do you have a little?
You're gonna laugh at me like a recorder or something?
Well, yeah, because I use my phone.
That's what I use. I literally
voice recorder. Yeah.
I literally just have my phone. I just need to capture the idea.
Yes.
Because you know as well as I do that even more than I do that sometimes you just get an idea or a rhythm in your head or something. Whether it's
and if you think you're going to remember it,
Yep.
it's gone.
It's gone. It's gone. Especially like little nuance or something.
Yeah. So you're saying you have somewhat of a library of ideas.
I do. Like I have like a 2-minute bit, or like, or it might just be a riff, or it might even be with an acoustic guitar just to capture that quick idea. And then sometimes I'll even go back to it. I'm like, this is crap.
Oh, I've done that too. Delete.
Yeah, and then or then I'll be like, huh. Oh, pretty good. Like,
I don't remember doing this, but I like it.
Yeah, yeah. So it's literally just use the voice recorder on my phone.
Yes, me too. So you've got this little library.
Mm-hmm.
At what point are you thinking of taking a next step of taking those further? Because you have nothing else to do.
It kind of sounds it kind of sounds cliche, but it's like, I'm sure it'll happen. It's just whenever that moment is right, I guess. Just because I'm so busy. I think I'm so caught up in the playing out thing.
Yeah.
I think that's where I'm at. So I think that's kind of why it's delayed.
Yeah.
Because I'm not gonna want to half-ass it.
No.
Like I'm gonna want.
But you also don't want to overthink it.
I don't want to. Yeah, and I'm very good at doing that. So. There's got to be a medium.
Yeah. Well, when you do, I'm looking forward to that.
Yep, and you'll be my.
You can record it here.
You'll not only will you be like my recording studio, but you'll be like the producer, I guess you'd be.
Sure, I can do that.
And see what
I won't charge much.
Bring over Domino's pizza. Yeah, they got their $6.99 medium pizza deal, but we do have to get 2 of them at the same time.
That's right.
Get the deal, but yeah, what I marvel about you is that you're writing alone, but you're also playing all the instruments too, and it's hard to not have somebody there to bounce ideas off of.
Yeah.
Because when I even think about that, I would just feel like I would just get caught up in my head. Like, is this good? This is not good.
That's why I send you stuff.
Which I really, I dig that, because it's that, very behind the scene kind of stuff. And, hey, what do you think about this? Or your question might even be as simple as an EQ thing.
Yeah.
Hey, I remixed, this. How does it sound? It sounds really bright. Or like, it needs more oomph.
Yeah.
Or
you're very honest.
How did the drum sound? Or something like that. So, we just blacked out.
That's all right. It's still going.
Okay, still going. But yeah, so kudos to you.
Cool. Well, thank you.
That you can sit there and, you know what I mean?
But yeah, you can record your stuff here. We can, however you want to do that. Whenever you want to do that.
Whenever that mood strikes.
Whenever you're bored.
It'll just be a moment where it'll be like, okay.
Because you were talking about when you do record, you said you wanted Mitch to drum.
I do. Yeah.
Mitch?
Hey. Yeah, Mitch to drum. Then I even thought about doing something like kind of like what Slash did, where like he has got multiple different singers. Like, I have this voice in mind for this song, or
You know what?
I think that would just
start off. Pick a song, one of the Slash tunes, and just record it. Record a cover.
Yeah.
Even if it's not to release or anything, just record it.
Just get your feet wet for yourself.
Yeah. Go ahead, jump in.
That's not a bad idea.
Do it.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Do it.
And then and then when it gets into that, then that's when my ears take over and everything's got to be right.
No, after everything's recorded, I tell you to leave.
Oh no,
I'll mix it.
I want to be right there. I want to be right there. It's just too. It makes me think of like the movie Rockstar, where they're doing.
I saw that once.
I love that movie. They're like behind the glass or whatever, and like he's recording the bass track. They're behind the glass over here, and they're like, they chime in.
Yeah.
Can you do that again? It's kind of missing more bollocks or something like that they say. And then the bass player, looks through the glass like, sounds pretty raunchy in here. Maybe it's an EQ thing.
Oh, you could think it to death.
I know, and that's you do have to draw the line. Like, okay.
Somebody, I don't remember who the quote came from, but they said, when you're recording, it's never done. At some point, it's just good enough.
Yeah. or you just settle.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that was perfect.
You're like, oh, all right. Well, we're in the ballpark.
Yeah.
Don't know where we're sitting.
Yeah. So other than that,
yeah.
What else do you want to do?
I would like eventually to have like another like full on cover band thing.
Yeah.
I think it's fun. I think it's fun shaping a set list. Like with Bad Influence, when it came to like the set list and the songs that we did, and then just looking at the full set list, it was a simple thing of keep it danceable, for the chicks,
right?
And because then if the chicks are there, then all the dudes are there, and now you got yourself a party.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that recipe worked very well.
Yeah. Have you thought about doing or trying to get into doing any other studio work?
Like just sit in or whatever?
Yeah,
I don't think I know.
I don't know how all that would work, but
I don't think I
you contact other studios to
say... I don't even know how to do that.
I don't either.
So if you got any suggestions, hit me up. What key we in?
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I've thought about that too. That would be cool.
That would be cool to play on a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. I think it would just be a good experience.
Yeah. Something to add your credits. Add your name to the credits.
I'm not trying to get, yeah. I mean, I'm not trying to be on the cover of Rolling Stone or something. You know,
but you never know.
Never know.
I think that would be really interesting to do some studio work.
I think of like, like a studio musician. One that I think of is like Steve Lukather. He's a guitar player in Toto, but some people know, some people don't know. Like, he was like doing all the stuff on Thriller with Michael Jackson.
I don't think I knew that.
Yeah. He was, better yet, he did all the stuff on Beat It, played bass, guitar, blah,
Nice.
blah, blah, blah. And then obviously Eddie Van Halen came in and laid a crushing solo down. But, yeah. It was, he's other stuff too. Trying to think of that one real famous producer guy. Like he was with like Motown Records or something. But yeah, he would always like Steve. I've watched interviews and Steve would always say something like, "Oh, I get a call from this guy, and we got this single. It's hot, but we just need something that's missing. Can you just lay in some flavor, not heavy guitar work, just some flavor."
Well, and I think that's why you would be really good with studio stuff, because you can play different styles. You can beef it up, but you can also...
I think I have a good sense of melody to where I can kind of... And sometimes, less is more.
Absolutely.
You know, it's not like I always think of like Neil Schon in the sense of like he can rip, but you know, he has a lot of memorable pieces.
Yeah.
Just solo stuff, and it's not terribly hard like it can be, but it's more about creating a memorable piece for the song.
A feel.
Yeah, instead of just going and saying, or, you know, look what I can do.
Burning, yeah. So I tell people...
And play a zillion notes.
Whether they just start or whatever, if it's somebody I talk to, recording or whatever, never, ever underestimate the power of just one note.
Yeah.
Hold it. Hold it.
Hold it. Maybe a little vibrato.
Yep. That can do a ton.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be...
Give you goosebumps.
Yeah.
Even Gene Simmons, he was saying on an interview where...
Who's that?
Yeah, exactly. He said something like, I think it was around maybe the Vinnie Vincent or something.
Oh, yeah.
Because like Vinnie would... He would, you know, play a zillion notes kind of thing. And Gene said something like, I would rather hear a big A chord that cracks your ribs than some flawless zillion note solo.
He said that on the extreme close-up home video. Yeah.
See, you know exactly what it was from. But
he's right.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, it does make sense.
Yeah, but that was the era, too.
Right.
Early to mid-'80s, everybody was...
And I think that's what I love about the 80s, because the 80s was like... The guitar was like larger than life.
Yeah.
All the music was basically guitar-oriented.
Yep.
Like even like pop music.
Yeah.
There's guitar in it.
Oh, yeah, not now.
Like, not now. Now it's just all electronic. They're all samples and then somebody singing over it. Like, it's just not...
That's sad, I think.
It's kind of a disgrace.
I mean, I don't want to put down... Because a lot of people love that music, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But it's just, to me, it's not real. It's not somebody playing...
It's like AI. It's like
don't get me started.
It's like artificial. It's just artificial.
Yeah.
And it's not... You know, the time that, you know, like, you know firsthand, you know, making music.
Yeah.
And making good music, you know.
I had somebody throw the art, because we were talking about the AI thing, and I was talking about my complete disdain for it. And he said, well, what's the difference? I mean, you use your orchestra software, and you can put horns or violins on your stuff, but you don't know how to play that stuff.
Yeah.
No, I don't. But...
Is that me?
That's you, yeah.
The whole time?
But my argument is, what's the difference between playing a guitar through a distortion pedal? It's just a filter for the instrument. I'm still on my keyboard playing the notes. I'm still deciding what notes go where and how I'm arranging the song, and I'm playing it. It just happens to sound like, you know, a trumpet or whatever.
Yeah, I mean...
I'm not letting a computer do it for me.
Almost think of it like a flyer. Like if you're going to use a pre-done template.
Yeah.
And now you're just going to put the information on there.
Yeah.
And then, hey, I created a flyer. Well, no, you didn't.
Right. Right. Yeah.
That's probably the best way I can sum it up.
It makes me nuts. But there's nothing we can do. Cat's already out of the bag.
Hey, I just stay in my lane.
Yeah.
I just stay in my lane, and that's it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you drive yourself crazy.
Yeah. That's why, and now I stay here in this room.
Yeah.
I do my own thing.
This is your happy place.
And I let the world go crazy, and they're going to do whatever they're going to do.
It's much simpler in this room.
Yeah. Yeah. Brother, it's been fun.
We've been at it a long... This is like the Dan Rathers interview.
Yeah. Dan's much more better looking than I am, though.
Dan's pretty cool.
Dan has interviewed a lot of hard rock people.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that was his idea or somebody else's, but if it was his idea, rock on.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was a fan.
I know, like, obviously Gene Simmons and Sammy Hagar.
Yeah.
Trying to think of all the other dudes.
He's done a bunch of them. And they're all good.
Might have been Ozzy, too.
Did he do Ozzy? If he has, I haven't seen that one.
I'll have to look that one up.
Yeah, but really good stuff.
Oh, here's something. Here's a mutual thing we'll end with.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be in order. Top 5 guitar players that really do it for you.
You're asking me?
Yeah, like influenced you.
Okay. Eddie Van Halen.
Okay.
I don't know if it's not in order necessarily.
Doesn't have to be in order, just spitting names.
Eddie Van Halen, George Lynch.
Sure. I met him. Super cool.
Really?
Yeah.
When was this?
I don't know. 2014, 13.
Wow. Cool.
And I got a guitar signed by him.
Really?
I do.
Is it hanging up at your in your room?
It's the dime bag.
So I have seen it.
Yep.
I just forgot about it.
And like his autograph is like, it literally looks like a cat. Like, I don't even know. I thought it was a joke actually when he signed it. I'm like, the hell's this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, okay, fine. But I like looked it up online and I'm like, okay, this is how he signs his.
That's legit.
Okay.
So Eddie, George, Bruce Kulick.
Dude, I think he might be my favorite Kiss player.
By far.
Yeah.
By far.
I just gravitate towards his style.
He had some tasty licks.
Yeah.
Wow, he was good.
Yeah, Bruce is the man.
Yeah.
So that's 3.
Wow. See, what's going to happen is after we turn the camera off, then I'll think of them.
Yeah. Then you're going to have like 10.
Yeah.
Like 10 guys. Maybe we'll have a part 2.
Right now, I think I told you before, I'm really in a Judas Priest thing.
Okay.
Richie Faulkner.
Oh, yeah, he's badass.
The last 2 albums that they've done, Firepower and Invincible Shield.
Firepower's really good.
Have you listened to Invincible Shield?
No, that's the newest?
Yes.
Okay. It's funny you say Judas Priest because me and my buddy Anthony from work, we at the beginning of the year, we both together went down the rabbit hole of Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
And I'm still in it for some reason. Like, we went through all the albums.
That's a lot.
Do 17 albums, and but now he's starting to go Judas Priest.
Yeah.
So we've kind of
dude, go with him. Go with him.
Oh, and
so good.
We've, discussed different songs and stuff, and it's a lot of fun to just...
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun to have a nerd like yourself around.
I'm a nerd? Really?
Yeah.
I qualify?
Whether it's you, whether it's Justin, whether it's my buddy Anthony from work, who you sit there and kind of share that with, I guess. Like I said, like go down the rabbit hole together. But yeah, I think he's more newer to Priest than I am.
Gotcha.
Like, but I could be wrong.
I want you to listen to that album on the way home. When you leave here, put that on.
Okay. When did it come out? Was that 24? Like it
23 or 24.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm so thinking of other guitar players. I think of
would you say Richie Faulkner?
Yeah, I think so.
Like number 4?
At least right now.
Like a fourth name.
Depending on the day, it could change.
I know.
But I think of when I was growing up, a teenager, the Anthrax stuff, the Metallica stuff. That's all fantastic too.
Yeah.
Danny Spitz played incredible stuff.
Yeah.
I like Kirk Hammett, but I wouldn't put him on the list. Sorry.
Just the way you said it, it was very like, oh, but I wouldn't put him on the list. Like,
as a band, I like Metallica.
Sure.
But individually, I'm not so sure. Yeah. I gotta come up with one more.
Now you're just like looking around.
I am.
Like I thought you would mention like Paul Stanley or something.
As a guitar player?
Yeah.
No.
Like maybe maybe even, I mean, he's not bad. Even as like a writer or something, or just maybe his way of thinking with chords.
He's come
and
up
stuff.
with some really cool rhythm stuff.
Like
but
he came up with like God of Thunder.
yeah, but have you heard him play it?
Yeah.
It's really sloppy and
Really?
yeah.
I didn't think it was too. Maybe I was more wild and like, oh, cool, he's playing God of Thunder. Like he was doing some Ernie Ball thing.
Yeah, just him and the guitar
String
playing
sessions or whatever the heck that's called. But
I'm not trying to discount him. I love the guy. He's
fine. You already did.
He's my hero.
I'm kidding.
As a front man, as a singer, he's the dude. But as a guitar player, I'm not so sure I would pick him to be in the band.
And since we're talking about Paul Stanley, you were Paul Stanley.
I was.
In the Kiss tribute band. Why can't I think of the name?
Double Platinum.
Double Platinum. Thank you.
So I was actually thinking of that when you were talking about...
That was the first time I ever saw you. I don't know if we actually... I think I did, like, say something to you.
Where was that at?
So this was at Breakaway.
Oh, that was the... Yeah.
In the back. And I think I had...
Yep.
I think I would, like, just turn 21. Maybe 22.
That was the first time...
And you guys played in the back.
First or second time we ever wore the makeup.
Okay.
I think it was the first time.
I think it was, now that I think about it, I think it was kind of like a big deal jazz hand thing, like, oh, with the makeup, or, like, I think he promoted it in such a fashion, So
you were talking about Slash, I don't want to wear the hat, I don't want to do the thing, I just want to play. That's where I was with Double Platinum.
Okay.
I didn't want to wear the makeup, I didn't want to wear the outfits, I just wanted to go up and celebrate the music of Kiss.
Celebrate the music, and,
But nobody was showing up.
Yeah.
And you talk about, these are good songs. People are going to dig it, right?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But when we started wearing the makeup, people were showing up, and I was pissed. So then, we got more and more into wearing the makeup, and it sucked. It didn't suck. I shouldn't say that. It was a lot of fun, but it got away from what I wanted it to be.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go through all that crap.
Yeah. And, it's a lot. I mean, putting the star on your face and making sure, it's, looks a certain way.
Putting my makeup and high heels on.
I'm sure it's much easier said than done.
Yeah.
But that is the first time where I saw you or met you. Wow. Yeah.
That was...
I'm trying to think what year that was. If I was, let's say...
2012? 11 or 12?
I would say like 12, 13 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And who knew?
Who knew?
That you'd be sitting here doing this.
Here I am.
Dude, it's been fun.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
This is cool. So is this like on your channel, like on a like a? Are you on?
Yeah.
Are you on the still on the YouTube channel?
Yep.
Okay.
I'll put it up there, and then I think depending on how long it is, I don't know if I can get away with it. I may have to edit it down. But I was thinking about putting just the audio as a track.
Yeah, we've been here for like 90 minutes.
Oh yeah, but I was going to put the audio as a track at the end of the Ghost Within Us album.
Okay.
We'll see. So
whatever. I'm sure it'll turn out great. Deuces.
Thanks for watching.
I'm sorry.